What happens when a smug receptionist tries to shame a simply dressed guest at a lavish New York hotel? Clueless that this woman is none other than Sandra Bullock. And worse, she has no idea John Cena is about to stride in and flip the script in a way no one could predict. You won't believe how this night unravels. Before we dive in, let us know where you're watching from. If you love stories like this, hit that subscribe button. But tomorrow, we've got another unforgettable tale waiting for you. Rain pounded New York City that November night. A relentless downpour that turned the streets into a mess of puddles and reflections. Among the hurried pedestrians ducking under umbrellas, one woman walked alone. Her gray hoodie was pulled tight over her head, a black baseball cap tucked beneath it to shield her face. Her sneakers, squished with every step, soaked from the storm. This was Sandra Bullock, but tonight she was just Sandra Annette, a name she used to slip under the radar. She needed a quiet spot to crash before a big event tomorrow, and the La Majestic, one of the city's ritziest hotels, was her pick. For someone like her, though, nothing was ever as simple as checking in. She pushed through the revolving doors, shaking off the chill. The lobby hit her with a wave of warmth and the faint scent of jasmine. Marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers, and a piano tinkled softly somewhere in the background. This was a place for the elite where privacy came with a hefty price tag. Sandra adjusted her cap and headed straight for the reception desk. Fatigue tugged at her, but her mind stayed sharp. She dealt with enough curveballs to know how to handle herself. Behind the desk stood a young woman, posture stiff and gaze piercing. Her name tag read Lily, etched in gold. Her uniform was pristine, her blonde hair pulled into a tight ponytail. She sized up every guest like a gatekeeper. And when Sandra approached, Lily's eyes narrowed. They flicked from the damp hoodie to the soggy sneakers, a smirk tugging at her lips. "Good evening," she said, her tone clipped but polite. "How can I assist you?" Sandra kept her voice steady. "I have a reservation." Under Sandra Annette. Lily paused, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. "Sandra Annette," she repeated, arching an eyebrow. She tapped a few keys, her eyes glued to the screen, then frowned. "I don't see any VIP bookings under that name." The word VIP dripped with doubt, like she'd already decided Sandra didn't belong. Sandra gave a small, practiced smile. She'd been here before, judged by people who didn't know her. "I've got the confirmation," she said, pulling out her phone. She opened the email and held it out. Lily didn't take it right away. Instead, she let out a tiny huff like Sandra was wasting her time, then snatched the phone with a flick of her wrist. Lily glanced at the screen, her expression souring. "Oh right," she said dryly. "Let me check again." But there was a bite to her words, a hint of sarcasm that set Sandra's teeth on edge. She took a slow breath, keeping her cool. All she wanted was her room. No drama, no fuss. But Lily wasn't making it easy. The receptionist typed again, slower this time, and the silence stretched out thick and uneasy. Few heads turned in the lobby. A couple by the fireplace, Emma and Jack, paused their chat, eyeing the scene. A guy at the bar, Tom, lowered his drink, watching with a flicker of interest. Lily's fingers stopped moving, and she leaned back slightly, crossing her arms. "This hotel's for exclusive guests," she said, her voice low but sharp. "Maybe there's been a mix-up." The implication was clear. "You don't fit here," Sandra blinked, letting the words sink in. She was used to being spotted in crowds, hounded for selfies. But right now, Lily had no clue who she was. And that ignorance was about to backfire. "There's no mix-up," Sandra said, her tone firm. "The reservation's legit. Check it properly." Lily's smirk widened, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I did," she shot back. "Nothing's coming up. Maybe you book somewhere else, like a budget spot a few blocks over." The jab landed hard, a deliberate slap. Sandra's jaw tightened, but she didn't flinch. She'd faced worse than this. Still, the sting pressed against her ribs. Emma whispered to Jack, "She's got some nerve." Jack nodded, his brow furrowing. Meanwhile, Tom slipped his phone from his pocket, angling it discreetly. Sandra caught the move from the corner of her eye, a shutter click waiting to happen. Great. This was turning into a circus. "I've got the email right here," Sandra said, shoving the phone closer. "Look again." Lily barely glanced at it before sighing long and exaggerated. "Fine, I'll humor you," she muttered, tapping the keys with zero urgency. Her screen stayed on the homepage. Sandra could see the reflection in the glass behind her. She wasn't even trying. "You're not checking," Sandra said, her voice still now. Lily froze for a split second, caught, then recovered with a tight smile. "I'm following protocol, ma'am. If you're sure it's here, maybe it's under a different name. Or..." She paused, smirking again. "Maybe it's not here at all." Sandra crossed her arms. "Call your manager." It wasn't a request. Lily's smile faltered, but she didn't budge. "He's busy," she said, leaning forward. "Look, I can recommend a place that's more your speed. No offense." The "no offense" was pure venom, and the room felt it. Emma gasped softly. Jack muttered, "She's digging her own grave." Tom's thumb hovered over his phone, ready to hit record. Sandra held Lily's gaze, unflinching. "You didn't even try," she said, each word deliberate. "Do your job." Lily's face twitched, her mask slipping. She opened her mouth to fire back, but the air shifted. A faint rustle came from the entrance, and heads turned. Sandra didn't. She didn't need to. She knew what was coming, and Lily was about to find out the hard way. Lily's smirk hung in the air like a taunt, her words still echoing off the polished marble of the Majestic's lobby. Sandra stood rooted, arms crossed, her calm exterior masking the storm brewing inside. She wasn't just tired from the rain-soaked trek, she was exhausted by this dance. Lily, oblivious, leaned on the desk, her nails clicking against the wood. "I'm sure there's a motel down the street that'd suit you better," she said, her voice syrupy with fake concern. "This place, it's for a different crowd." The words sliced deeper than they should have. Sandra's chest tightened, not from anger, but from the weight of familiarity. She could have snapped, could have dropped her name and watched Lily crumble. But that wasn't her. Not tonight. "Check the system again," she said, her tone low, steel running through it. "I'm not leaving." Lily rolled her eyes. "I already did, ma'am. It's not there. Maybe you typed the wrong hotel in that little email of yours." She flicked her hand dismissively. The lobby's hum faded. Emma gasped at the fireplace. Jack shook his head. Tom's phone raised higher, ready to record. Sandra felt the weight of being judged again, but she refused to back down. "Call your manager," she repeated louder. This time, her voice cutting the air. Heads turned. Guests leaned in. Lily hesitated, her confidence cracking, but still she doubled down. "I told you he's busy," she sneered. And just as she leaned forward, dripping with contempt, the heavy thud of the revolving doors filled the lobby. A gust of wet air swept inside. Footsteps echoed, measured and sure. Sandra didn't turn. She didn't need to. She already knew. John Cena had arrived. The lobby froze as John Cena stepped into view, his black suit sharp against the lobby's golden glow. Damp from the rain, but every stride radiated calm. Power. Conversations halted, eyes locked on him. His gaze swept the lobby, then landed on Sandra. Recognition flickered across his face. A faint smile. The tension shifted. Lily blinked. Suddenly unsure. Cena walked straight to the desk, his presence a thunderclap. He stopped beside Sandra, their shoulders nearly brushing. "Did I keep you waiting too long?" he asked, voice low. Warm, steady. Sandra let out a soft breath, the smallest smile tugging at her lips. "Oh, you know I'm a pro at patience tests," she replied dryly. The brief exchange shattered Lily's smug confidence. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Guests whispered, "It's him, John Cena." Phones angled, recording every second. Cena turned his focus to Lily, calm but piercing. "I think my friend has a reservation," he said, each word deliberate. Authority without effort. Lily's fingers shook on the keyboard. I'll check, sir," she stammered, tapping furiously this time. The clatter of keys filled the silence. Sandra watched, not triumphant, but tired. She'd seen this before. People scrambling once. The truth hit. It didn't feel good, it just felt heavy. Finally, Lily's screen lit up. Her face drained of color. "It's here," she muttered. Sandra Annette. Deluxe suite. Must have been a glitch. A glitch. Sandra echoed flatly. Cena gave a short, humorless chuckle. The sound landed like a slap. Lily's cheeks flushed as she slid the keycards across the desk with trembling hands. But Cena leaned closer, his eyes locking with hers. "Tell me something," he said, voice soft but sharp. "Would that glitch have fixed itself if I hadn't walked in?" The lobby held its breath. Lily froze. The answer was written all over her silence. Lily's screen lit up and her face paled. It's here," she muttered, barely audible. "Sandra Annette. Deluxe suite. System glitch, I guess." Her voice cracked, flimsy excuses falling apart. Sandra raised an eyebrow. "A glitch," she repeated, tone flat. Cena let out a humorless chuckle, the sound echoing like judgment. The guests in the lobby stirred, whispers buzzing. Lily flushed red, sliding the keycards across the desk with trembling hands. "Here you go," she whispered, unable to meet their eyes. But Cena wasn't finished. He leaned forward, resting his hands on the desk, his gaze pinning Lily where she stood. "Let me ask you something," he said softly, his voice carrying more weight than a shout. "Would that glitch have fixed itself if I hadn't walked in?" The words sliced like a blade. Silence thickened. Lily opened her mouth, but no sound came. The truth was written in her face. Everyone knew the answer. "Emma at the fireplace," whispered, eyes wet. "She wouldn't have." Jack nodded grimly. "Not a chance." Lily's lips trembled, her mask gone. I didn't mean." Cena cut her off, calm but devastating. "And what if it wasn't her?" He gestured toward Sandra. "What if it was someone else? Someone without a name you'd recognize? Would you have sent them packing too?" The weight of the question hit. like a freight train. Lily's silence was her confession. The lobby felt it. Guests shifted, unsettled by the truth. Sandra sighed, the sound heavy with years of weariness. "It's not just me," she said, her voice cracking softly. "This happens every day to people who don't have someone to step in." Cena's gaze softened, a silent understanding passing between them. The lobby felt the rawness in her words. Emma wiped a tear, whispering, "She's right." Jack squeezed her hand, his jaw tight. Tom's phone, once raised for scandal, lowered. He wasn't capturing drama anymore. He was witnessing something real. The elevator dinged in the distance. The lobby's tension deepened. Then hurried footsteps broke through. The manager had arrived. As the elevator doors slid shut, the spell broke. Emma turned to Jack, her voice shaking. That was unreal. Tom pocketed his phone, shaken. And Lily. She stood frozen, the weight of her choices crashing down. James, the manager, turned to her, his face a mask of disappointment. "Lily," he said, voice low and sharp. "My office. Now." It wasn't a request. The lobby watched her step out from behind the desk, shoulders hunched, feet heavy. Each step was a march toward judgment. Emma whispered, "She's done." Jack nodded. She brought it on herself. Tom slipped his phone into his pocket, shaken. Even the guard at the door gave her a silent, knowing look. She avoided every gaze as she followed James into the administrative wing. The click of the glass door shutting behind them sounded final. Inside the office, the air was thick. James sat behind his desk, fingers steepled. Lily stood trembling. "Mr. James, I can explain," she started, but he cut her off. "Don't. You didn't just miss a reservation. You humiliated a guest, Sandra Bullock. And you would have kept going if John Cena hadn't walked in." His words hit like blows. Her stomach dropped. She'd suspected, but hearing it confirmed twisted the knife. "I didn't know," she stammered. "You thought she didn't belong," James snapped. "You judged her, mocked her, delayed her. All because she didn't look the part. And now it's on us to clean up your mess." He turned his monitor, showing the damage online. Tom's blurry photo was already viral. Receptionist at La Majestic tries to ditch Sandra Bullock. John Cena steps in. Epic fail. Comments piled up. Fire her. Cena's a legend. What a disgrace. Lily's knees buckled. This can't be happening, she whispered. Tears spilled. It is, James said coldly. And we can't have this tied to La Majestic. You're fired. Effective immediately. The words shattered her. No, please, I've given years to this place. And you threw it away in one night, James shot back. You didn't just hurt her. You hurt every guest who's been judged by you. Get your things. And go. Her world collapsed. She stumbled out, vision blurred, shame heavy as the rain outside. She grabbed her coat and bag, pushed through the doors into the storm. It soaked her instantly. But nothing hurt more than the truth. She judged, she lost, and the world would not forget. Back inside, Emma turned to Jack, her voice soft. She'll never look at anyone the same again. Jack sipped his drink, nodding. If she's smart, she won't. Respect's not optional. Tom, silent, stared at his phone, then deleted the photo. Some lessons hit harder than likes. The La Majestic's lobby settled into an uneasy calm as the rain tapered off. Outside, leaving only a soft patter against the glass. Upstairs, Sandra sat on the edge of her suite's king-sized bed, the crisp sheets cool under her fingers. Exhaustion pulled at her, but her mind replayed the night. Lily's sneer, John Cena's steady voice, the weight of it all. Across the room, Cena stood by the window, gazing at the city's flickering lights. "She got what was coming," he said, quietly, not turning. "Karma's funny that way." Sandra sighed, her shoulders slumping. "Maybe. But it's not about her. It's the others. The ones who don't have a John Cena to walk in and fix it." Her voice cracked, raw with the truths she'd carried too long. She saw them in her mind. The single mom turned away. The kid in worn shoes dismissed. The quiet souls crushed by arrogance. Cena turned, his eyes soft but searching. "You can't save everyone, Sandy," he said, sitting across from her. "But tonight you gave them a voice." She managed a small smile, touched by his words. "You did too. Down there, you didn't just call her out. You made them feel it." He shrugged a faint grin, tugging at his lips. "Had to. You'd have done the same for me once." She didn't remember the moment he meant, but she didn't doubt it. That was them. Two souls who'd climbed the same hard road, lifting each other up. The next morning, the lobby buzzed with a cautious hush. James rushed over as Sandra and Cena descended, his smile nervous. "Miss Annette, Mr. Cena, please, a complimentary stay, dinner, anything. We're so sorry." Sandra glanced at Cena, then back at James. "Thanks, but no," she said, her voice firm but kind. "We're leaving." James blinked, flustered. "But money doesn't fix respect," Cena cut in, picking up his bag. "You might want to teach that here." They walked out, heads high, leaving a stunned silence behind in the car, gliding through New York's waking streets. Sandra's phone buzzed. A friend had sent a video. Tom's clip, now viral, titled, "Kindness wins. Sandra and John Cena turn the tables." She showed Cena, who raised an eyebrow. "Told you it'd ripple," he said, leaning back. She laughed softly. "What's your zen take on Lily now?" He thought. For a moment. She's got a choice. Learn or sink. Up to her. The video's comments flooded with stories. People vowing to tip better, smile more, judge less. Sandra's eyes misted over. Not from the night, but from this. "It's a seed," she murmured, echoing Cena's hope. They'd walked away not for spite but to plant something bigger. Justice wasn't Lily's firing. It was this quiet shift, this spark of good spreading beyond the La Majestic's walls. And as the city blurred past, they knew. Sometimes the real win isn't staying to gloat. It's leaving to inspire. What hits me hardest about this story isn't Lily's downfall. It's Sandra and John Cena choosing to walk away. That strength, not rubbing it in but letting action speak louder than revenge. It's a reminder that real power isn't in proving you're right. It's in sparking change without needing applause. Some might argue they should have stayed, made the hotel squirm. And I get that. There's satisfaction in watching arrogance crumble up close. But leaving, that's a gut punch to pride. A lesson in humility that sticks. And it's not just about famous names. It's about every time we've judged too fast. What do you think? Did they do enough, or should they have pushed harder? Thanks for sticking with this tale. We'd love to hear your take below. Subscribe for more stories that make you feel and think. See you tomorrow.